Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and Wilds of Eldraine is releasing very soon, and I wanted to go over the draft/sealed archetypes, along with the signpost cards to kind of dip our fingers into Wilds of Eldraine Limited and know what to expect. And so without further ado, let's jump into it with blue-white. The general strategy is tapping down your opponent's creatures and then punish your opponents for being tapped. The signpost cards include the uncommon Shure, which I'm butchering, of Numbing Depths, which is a 4-mana, 1 blue, 1 white, 2 generic, 2/3 Merfolk Wizard. That when it enters a battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls, then put a stun counter on it. A stun counter means that they remain tapped for another turn. And whenever you tap one or more untapped creatures your opponent controls, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn, so it can capitalize on other blue and white cards in your deck, tapping down your opponent's creatures. Blue-black is the fairies color, including a bunch of fairy synergies that care about you having a lot of fairies, including pumping stuff up, returning spells to your hand, forcing your opponent to discard, all of that awesome Dimir stuff. His signpost cards is an uncommon, which is a 2/2 blue-black fairy warrior named Obira, Dreaming Duelist. Has flash flying, and whenever another fairy enters a battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. It's a great example of what the archetype is trying to do. Black-red is the rats color. And similar to blue-black being the care about fairies archetype, red-black is the care about rats archetype. Specifically, Totentans, specifically Totentans, Swarm Piper, is a 3-mana 2/3, a black, a red, and a generic human warlock bard. Whenever Totentans, which I'm butchering the name, Swarm Piper, or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this creature can't be blocked, and you can pay a black and a generic to have target attacking rat you control gain death touch until end of turn. Cool. For the record, what I mean by cares about rats, the rats care about like things dying, so as with most Rakdos archetypes, it's kind of the sacrifice color as well. Next archetype is Gruul, which is red-green, which is the care about creatures with power 4 or greater archetype. This is exemplified with Ruby, Daring Tracker, which is green-red, 1/2 with haste. Whenever Ruby Daring Tracker attacks while you control a creature with power 4 or greater, Ruby gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and you can tap Ruby to make a red or a green. This card's so good. The green-white archetype is focused on rolls, where rolls are essentially an enchantment which boosts or takes away a creature's power or toughness, and gives them something else as well. This is exemplified in Sir Armont the Redeemer, which is 5 mana, 3 generic, 1 green, 1 white, human knight 4/4. When it enters a battlefield, create a monster roll token attached to target creature you control, and enchanted creatures you control get +1/+1. So because the rolls themselves are enchantments, Sir Armont creates those rules, but also rewards you from having things enchanted. The white-black archetype cares about you synergizing with the bargain mechanic and tokens. Bargain essentially being a variant of the kicker mechanic, letting you sacrifice a token, an enchantment, or an artifact to have a spell do something a little bit more. The signpost card for this archetype is Neva, Stalked by Nightmares, which is a white, a black, and 2, so 4 mana total. 2/2 human noble with menace. When Neva, Stalked by Nightmares enters the battlefield, return target creature or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Neva, then scry 1. Meaning that sacrificing it to bargain, you get an additional thing. The blue-red archetype, as with blue-red archetypes in most limited formats, are the Spells Matter archetype. This is exemplified in Johan, Apprentice Sorcerer, which is 2 generic, a blue, and a red, so 4 mana total, 2/5 human wizard. You may look at the top card of your library at a time. Once each turn, you may cast an instant or sorcery card from the top of your library. Seems pretty good. The black-green archetype is the Food Matters archetype, exemplified in Greta, Sweet Tooth Scorn, which is 1 generic, 1 black, 1 green, so 3 mana total, 3/3 human warrior. When Greta's Sweet Tooth Scorn enters the battlefield, create a food token, and you can pay 1 green and sacrifice a food, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, activating only as a sorcery, so it's not a combat trick, and you can pay a black and a generic to sacrifice a food to draw a card and lose 2 life, so really being rewarded for having a lot of food. The red-white archetype is the aggressive archetype through the mechanic Celebration, caring about if 2 or more non-land permanents enter the battlefield that turn, extra things happen. Exemplified with Ash Party Crasher, which is a red and a white 2/2 with haste human peasant, and it has Celebration whenever Ash Party Crasher attacks. If 2 or more non-land permanents enter the battlefield under your control this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Ash. So it cares about you double spelling, or it could possibly care about rolls, because that's a non-land permanent. And last but not least, the green-blue archetype synergizes with things that cost 5 or more to cast, so it's kind of the ramp archetype. exemplified with Troyan Gusty Explorer, which is a generic, a blue, and a green to cast. Is a 1/3, a Veldican Scout. You can tap it to add a blue and a green, and you can spend this mana only to cast spells with mana value 5 or greater, or spells with X in their mana cost, or you can pay a blue to tap it to draw a card, then discard a card. So those are the archetypes in Wilds of Eldraine Limited. They all sound very good. They all sound very fun to play. If you like this video and want to see more update videos and explanation videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social media. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.